Welcome to another storytime video. This is another story from the Tales of Beetle the Bod. This is the tale of the three brothers, aka the Deathly Hallows. There were once three brothers who were traveling along a lonely, winding road at twilight, at night. In time, the brothers reached a river too deep, too wide through, and too dangerous to swim across. However, these brothers were learned in the magical arts, and so they simply waved their wands and made a bridge appear across the treacherous river. They were halfway across it when they found their path blocked by a hooded figure. Now, who do you think the hooded figure is? I know who it is, but do you? And Death spoke to them. Yes, it was the Grim Reaper, Death. Father Death. He was angry that they had been cheated out of the three. That he had been cheated out of the three new victims. I don't have my glasses on. I'm sorry. I don't like to wear my glasses because of the reflection, but I think I have to. My eyesight is garbage. That he had been cheated out of three new victims, for travelers usually drowned in the river, but Death was cunning. He pretended to congratulate the three brothers upon their magic, and said that each had earned a prize for having been clever enough to evade him. So the oldest brother, who was a combative man, asked for a wand more powerful than ever in existence, a wand that must always win duels for its owner, a wand worthy of a wizard who had conquered death. So Death crossed to an elder tree on the banks of the river, fashioned a wand from a branch that hung there, and gave it to the oldest brother. Then the second brother, who was an arrogant man, sounds like my father, decided that he wanted to humiliate Death still further, and asked for the power to recall others from death. So Death picked up a stone from the riverbank and gave it to the second brother, and told him that the stone would have the power to bring the dead back to life. It's the resurrection stone. And then Death asked the third and youngest brother, what he would like. The youngest brother had the humblest and also the wisest of the brothers, and he did not trust Death. So he asked for something that would enable him to go forth from that place without being followed by Death. And Death, most unwillingly, handed over his own cloak of invisibility, and then Death stood aside and allowed the three brothers to continue on their way. And they did so, talking with wonder of the adventure they had, and admiring Death's gifts. Yes, but would you ever want to accept a gift from Death? Do any of you all trust the Grim Reaper to congratulate you on anything? In due course, the brothers separated, each for his own destination. The first brother traveled for a week or more, and in reaching a distant village, sought out a fellow wizard with whom he had had a quarrel, an argument. Naturally, with the elder wand as his weapon, he could not fail to win the duel that followed, leaving the enemy dead upon the floor. The oldest brother proceeded to an inn, a hotel or a motel, where he boasted loudly of a powerful wand he had snatched from Death himself, and how it had made him invincible. And that very night, another wizard crept upon the oldest brother as he lay wine-sodden upon his bed. He was drunk. The thief took the wand and for good measure, slit the oldest brother's throat. These are kid stories, by the way. And so Death took the first brother for his own. You see where I'm getting with this? Meanwhile, the second brother journeyed to his own home, where he lived alone. Here he took out the stone that had the power to recall the dead, and turned it three times. In his hand, to his amazement and his delight, the figure of a girl he had once hoped to marry before her untimely death appeared at once before him. Yet she was sad and cold, separated from him by a veil. Though she had returned to the mortal world, she did not truly belong there, and suffered. Finally, the second brother, driven mad with hopeless longing, killed himself. Kid story. So as truly to join her. And so Death took the second brother for his own. But though Death searched for the third brother for many years, he was never able to find him. It was only when he attained a great age that the youngest brother finally took off the cloak of invisibility and gave it to his son, and then greeted Death as if he was an old friend, and went with him gladly and equals they departed this life. With a fun little picture, if you can see it. My green screen might be messing with it. This thing is a little sensitive, and that's the end of the story. It is the final story in this book, but I will make sure to read all the stories in this book. I just went with Babbity Rabbity and the Cackling Stump first, and now the Tale of the Three Brothers. Now, that story, gruesome for a kid's story. But you gotta teach your young witches and witches young that don't cheat death. You can't not make a fool of the Grim Reaper. The Final Destination films make sure of that. If you cheat death, he'll get you one way or the other. So I hope you enjoyed that story, and again, kid stories. You can read this book to your kids before they go to bed. Maybe not the Tale of the Three Brothers. Maybe go to the Wizard and the Hopping Pot, or Babbity Rabbity and her Cackling Stump. Maybe one of those. But I wouldn't recommend using the Deathly Hallows as a bedtime story. That's more of a story for them to learn a life lesson during the daytime. So I hope you all enjoyed, and I'll thank you all for watching. See you in the next video. Cheers.